getting to that first game, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our Brazilian Terran player, the young up-and-comer himself, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is INexorable. The reigning Code for Champions Cup champion. Sorry, Code for Giants Cup. I keep saying Champions Cup. Why? Code for Giants Cup champion. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent going for a gas first. Not canceling, not going for a 15-15. Interesting. Going for a 14-14. The Brazilian Zerg player, the red Zerg representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Erik. Okay, so we're getting into a 14-14 into an Overlord. I believe this should be for an extractor trick. Yep, there we go. Going for the trick. Getting into a 15 hatchery timing potentially. So yeah, really interesting build here from Erik. Now, with the fast gas, we can rush into link speed. We could, I imagine in the ZvT, this is going to be for fast roaches. You know, in another matchup, link speed has a little bit more value. Here, I would not be surprised if we throw down a fast roach warren instead. We'll keep an eye on Erik to see where the gas is spent. Never mind, okay, link speed. Link speed is on the way. We pull out of gas. No fast roaches from Erik, but very fast link speed. Okay, into a very delayed expansion. Going for a 17 hatchery here, quite later. Hatchery is on the way. Now, this SCV Scout will confirm the delayed hatchery. We'll get eyes on this. We'll confirm the links as well. For the fastest spawning pool, we can piece it all together. And how does INexorable respond? How does he react?
You've built a fancier command center.
Oh, he's got TB. Let's go. Fun fact, I think this is the first player that I've heard using Total Biscuit. Most of them use, like, I don't know, Taste Hostess or Diva. Diva's a popular one. But yeah, I think this is the first player that I've heard use Total Biscuit in all my years of casting. Like, in like 6 years. Crazy. There we go, Lings are floating across the map. Moving out, and INexorable going to be able to pick off a couple of Lings back at home. 2 Lings go down, but link speed is about to kick in. Link speed is done, and our goal here is to get on top of the Reaper. Get on top of the Marine. Lings have arrived. We dive on top of the Marine. Up! Oh, the Reaper as well. The Marine will go down. So will the Reaper. It all does fall. SCVs are falling as well. The bunker will not finish. We evacuate the natural. We shut it all down. 2 workers, Reaper, Marine. Behind this, we're droning. We're not going all in. But Erik has controlled the low ground. Has controlled the natural. Behind this, getting into a 1-1-1. Delayed 3rd CC. Interesting. Much more aggressive follow-up here out of our Terran player. The Marine on the other side. No. Yeah, rough location for that Marine. Does go down. Our Terran will defend, will hold. And with this, where are we headed? Okay, add-on swap for Reactor Hellion. The starport can create a tech lab on its own. Banshee production is going to be delayed if that's the case. And across the map, Erik is still droning, getting a 3rd. 3rd is delayed. But Erik does have a worker lead. And we're going Viking first. Interesting. With this Viking, we're going to be hunting down the Overlords and denying any kind of map vision. No fusion core yet. Tech lab is on the way. I'm curious if there's going to be Viking into an add-on switch, or if we're going Viking into just fast stim. Back at home, Erik throwing down a Roach Warren. He's going to play Roach Ravager. This is Erik's go-to in the mid-game, is Roach play. He doesn't embrace it more than Ling Bane. Yeah, it's okay. It's going to be stim. Okay, Viking first into stim. So Viking is looking for the Overlord. Has now been found. Can shut it down. But again, stim is on the way. Additional Raxes. Cutting Hellions at 5. So 5 Hellions here from our Terran player. Hellions going to be forced back. I believe we have not scattered. Ooh, this is brutal. We have not seen the Roach Warren, and we are massing Roaches. And why are we... never mind. I was going to say we're amassing roaches to go for a push, but we are still droning. Like, Erik, he's so hard to read. He's like the Brazilian Mio where, you know, sometimes he drones, sometimes he doesn't. It's really hard to tell when and where they're going for an all-in. Scan into the main, doesn't see much. Reveals an extra gas. There we go. Spots the roaches. Big scout. And INexorable is aware of the roach production and should be getting ready. Roaches are moving out across the map. INexorable getting ready back at home. Tanks are on the way. Lair in production for Erik. And he's only poking out with these roaches. I believe he plans on droning. Yeah, there we go. We are droning up. Erik's worker count is still low. There's a tank on the high ground. Yeah, big tank volley goes off. And Erik does have to retreat. Lings have arrived. We could try to break the natural, but with all these Hellions, it's going to be difficult. Yeah, the Lings, they turn back around. Ravagers are denied. We can at least get some depots. One depot will fall. Now, we'll supply block INexorable. Back at home, we're droning, lacking, being annoying. Getting some damage done. The Roach Ravager does slip in. We're going for the tank. Boys are being pulled. Lings over the surround. They catch a Hellion. Not much else. Can we take down some SCVs? 4 SCVs full. We trade with the Hellions. We clean them up. And can we get the tank? And the Marines, they stim on forward. They focus down the Roaches. The tank will survive. Oh, the Miles! Oh my god. Erik, calm down. The Marines are about Erik trading as best he can. That's going to be 5 Roaches, 3 Ravagers, 19 Lings for 8 SCVs. Hellions, Marines, not bad. We needed the tank though. The tank would have been ideal. Because we did lose a lot of gas there. As Erik is droning up, saturating his third, getting a 4th, taking up towards an infestation bit. That's going to be for infestors, fungal growths. Erik doesn't have much of an army. Thankfully for Erik, INexorable is only moving out with the drop. He's keeping his tanks back at home. It's only going to be Marines. Erik will be able to hold on. Roaches on their way. Marines, they send one forward. They go for the Queens. Oh. Attempt to go for the Queens. So far, we do hold on. Lacking, bearing away that Overlord. A drop making his way into the main base as well. Back at home, third base up and running for our Terran player. Getting into the rest of his bio production. It's going to be a 5-rack setup on 3 bases. Armory's on the way for 2-2. INexorable is macroing well. Like getting into his 3-base setup. But Erik is looking comfortable here. We do see INexorable trying to split him apart. We have a drop outside of the main. Drop pushing into the natural. Main the nest on the way. We do pick off potentially a couple of workers. Not quite, we get one. One drone goes down. Stimming into the mineral line. We get 2, we get 3. Oh my god. 3 workers as the medevac barely does survive. Barely gets out of there. Calm down, Poppy. Calm down. Barely did get out. Oh my god. And with that, the infestors! Massive catch! We get 1! We get 2! 2 infestors go down. Massive pickoffs. Marines full, but that was well worth it here for the Terran. And we have to rebuild. 3 more infestors on the way. Tanks are pre-sieged. We catch the Roach Ravager. Oof. Erik getting caught out time and time again with the infestors with the Roach Ravager as well. INexorable has been trading well. Has momentum on his side. Doesn't push out yet. We are still lacking fire. Like, there's a lot of tanks, true, but we just don't have enough Marines here to really support this army. Yeah, we leave the tanks back at home. We're going for a drop instead. Triple drop across the map. Scanning ahead of time, trying to get a read on the army. Erik is keeping up. We have fungals. We have fungals available. INexorable force a split. The fungal raises the army. The Miles! Oh my god. Will not connect. We do pull back in time. And we have 1 fungal growth left. Looks like we will not quite catch the army. Erik joining up to 80. We have a solid economy, 80 workers, 4 bases, soon to be 5. Ultra Cavern being thrown down, Balin has done for Bailing Speed. Viper's on the way, we're getting ready for Lingbane, Roach Ravager into Ultra. Just getting rid of roaches entirely. The Infestors! Not again! Oh my god, we unload, we catch one more Infestor, almost a second. Wiles will connect, they take down one medevac. But we've wasted so much energy, so many Infestors have gone down, we have no fungals left. And here comes the main army, here comes the push. How many tanks do we have? 9. As many tanks as there are roaches. Ooh, medevac goes down, we clean up the army. Terran player pushing right through the center, but Erik is maxed out, this time with Lingbane. He has a much better army to deal with tanks. Not just Roach Ravager, not anymore. 4 Ultras in production. The Liberators will complicate things, true. But Erik is maxed and he can collapse on this. Now he doesn't have kindness plating. Ooh, +2. Under fire. The army is zoned away. +2 should be able to finish. Viper coming in from behind. Ooh. Not quite getting that blinding cloud. We're going for it though. The flank is real. And we get one blinding cloud on the tanks, and now we collapse in. We pull the trigger. And Lingbane and Ultras kind of splitting, finishing up just in time for the fight. And we are breaking through. The Ultras are getting low though. Can we get more of these tanks? We get one more. We barely get another. 2 tanks survive. There's still plenty of bio left over, and INexorable is pushing in. Erik, we have nothing left. 6 Ultras in production. But Ultras on their own, what can they do? And the freedom is here. Ultras collapsing on the army. Lings as well. Oh, it's a close defense. It's a very close hold. And we do clean this up. Ooh, just barely. Erik barely holds on, chasing down the reinforcements. Gets another tank. When INexorable rallying a little bit too much, he did snipe the Ultra. He sniped the Ultra. Now it's Erik's turn to overextend. Has to pull back. Rallying his Ultras, producing roaches. I believe these roaches are only for Ravagers, so we have some anti-air for these libs. So Ravagers are on the way, as many as we can make. As many as possible. Hatchery did go down. We're still on 4 bases. Our drone count is still looking good. Erik has remaxed. But you could see like how efficient the Terran army can be. As the Ling Rumite does find these SCVs. The workers. Oh, they get caught out. But so far, only 3 SCVs going down. A very nice defense. At the same time, the Ultras pushing right down mid. We shut down a Liberator. We got 1 Liberator. We got 2 tanks. And Erik, it looks like we may have just done it. Another Liberator going to be falling. Massive pickoffs. CC gets denied. More files. Ooh, bit of friendly fire, but it was worth it. We got on top of the SCVs, and Erik, he has broken through. It was a very close game. Erik barely survived earlier. GG gets called, and Erik takes game number 1. Whew. GG. A very, very dynamic game there. Very back and forth. Erik with a wild opener, going for a 14-14. With Link Speed, was able to gain map control early on. Likewise, though, INexorable finding so many Infestors, so many stray Infestors out on the map, punishing Erik for his inattention, for being unable to keep up with some of the drop play of the Terran. And that main push almost killed Erik. That was almost game then and there. Erik was barely able to get into those Ultras. Again, the timing of his upgrades were insane with +2 and with Carapace. Sorry, with +2 Carapace and with Kindness Plating. Erik barely held. And GG. GG, well played. Erik takes game 1. But it's the best of 5. Plenty more games ahead of us. Ooh, plenty more games. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the grand finals of Code for Giants Cup number 5. It's good to be back. I apologize for the break, but we have returned here and we are mid-series. Game 1 just concluded, and our Zerg player here has a lead, but it's a best of 5, and we can Go back and forth. We can take a turn here. Things can take a turn as we're going for another gas first. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Crimson Court, we have the blue Zerg player representing the CranKy Ducklings. He's one of our own from the land of Brazil. It is Erik. And the same opener, 14-14, spawning across the map in the bottom left-hand corner of Crimson Court. We have the Brazilian Terran player, the yellow Terran, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is INexorable. Here we go, and we saw what this build led to, or this opener led to in the previous game. This leads into fast ling speed, into control of the low ground. We were able to shut down the Reaper, 2 Marines, 2 SCVs, and delay mining at the natural base for as long as possible. So it is just a way to get control early on, to get some economic damage, and to make the Terran player as uncomfortable as possible. So it is supposed to be a more aggressive kind of macro opener, ideally meant to get some damage done across the map. We'll see how INexorable adapts, because this is a very unorthodox way to start the game. This is not standard whatsoever, and not saying it's just not standard, but I imagine no one else does this. I'll be honest, I don't think any other Zerg player out there opens up quite like Erik, so we'll see how our Terran player adapts on the fly. For now, racks expand. Standard opener, SCV scout across the map. This SCV will confirm the delayed hatchery and will piece together what exactly is occurring. We can see that Erik did pull out a gas, so we're not rushing into a Bailey Nest or a Bane Bust or a Roach Rush or anything like that. It is merely ling speed. And the lings will, they will miss! They don't quite shut down the SCV, but the SCV will fall. We get a full scout. We confirm no additional gas mining, so INexorable knows that there's no Bane Buster coming, but there are lings. Is aware of the lings at least. Back at home, bunker is on the way. I believe the Reaper is likewise turning back around as well. Staying back at home so we have some extra DPS to defend. Marines are amassing, and the Overlord does confirm the bunker. Here we go. Lings are moving out in 10 seconds. Ling speed will kick in. And can we get here in time? Can we get us around once again on the Reaper? Can we shut down the low ground? As we go, Lings are on the way. Reaper on patrol. It is spotted by the Overlord. And the Lings, they're going right for it. Oh, the bunker does finish up. Does finish in time. Again, a nice adaptation here by INexorable to focus and prioritize the bunker. Bunker now finishes, and these Lings do nothing. The Lings, they can't really do much of anything here. Not anymore. They could try to run past the bunker and go for the mineral line and maybe focus on some SCVs and some mules. But that's really the best chance. Once Erik does spot the road of that Maynard. The wall is up and running. Lings going for the surround. Oh! They don't quite get it. Yeah, Lings, they don't get much done here. So far, good control here out of the Terran. We start to step around. 1 Marine, never mind. 2 Marines go down. And the Reaper. Uh-oh. We get all the units. Boys are being pulled away. We will clean this up, but pretty nice damage here by Erik. Just turning water into wine. Somehow, some way, we found some damage. We baited the army out. We got this around. We got something for our opener. Back at home, Erik droning up. Happily droning, getting into a third base. Saturating as quickly as possible. Taking a second gas, and we see what is the gas for? For roaches. Once again, a roach follow-up out of Erik. Is settling into roach play. Getting into our third. Likewise, our Brazilian Terran player also building up towards Stim and getting into a third CC. Okay, this time a very different response. Remember, last game we went into a 1-1-1 followed by the third CC. This is a 3CC 2-1-1. Interesting. So a much faster third base, so much more economic. Into a second rack, into a delayed starport. This is a Stim timing. We're getting to a Stim timing here. Stim is on the way. Medevac production, we're basically going to be swapping the starport with the factory into double Medevac production as quickly as possible. Into a 60 Marine push with some Hellions, with even a Cyclone. So basically, because of this opener and this build of choice from the Terran player, there's very little map control. Again, we have very few Hellions and Cyclones. Like, we have very little factory units here, so we're stuck at home. We're free to spread creep and make use of these queens and saturate our bases, but that sim timing can still hit like a truck. There's the add-on swap. Third base being taken. Add-on swap here for our Terran player. Into Medevacs. Ooh, we're taking the linear third. Okay, a much safer third base location for INexorable. The bio count still building up. Likewise, Erik getting into his own 1-1 upgrades. Double Eva Chamber on the way. Droning up to 2 base saturation. Still not quite fully saturating the third. We have a handful of roaches, but we may not have enough here. Erik did not scout. He did not scout the main. He is not aware of the follow-up. He's not aware of how much danger he's in. Here it comes at the double drop. And Erik is droning. We have 4 roaches. We're supply blocked. We have 4 roaches, we have 5 lings, we have supply blocked, we have upgrades on the way. Here comes the double drop, and Erik has very little to defend. We have very few units. The army has arrived. Erik has to pull back. Gotta try to engage. The army sims on forward. We bleed out a roach. Queens are coming in. We get into the mineral line. Drones are being targeted down. We got 6 drone kills already. But we are forced to pick up. Full medevac goes down. Oh my god. INexorable overextending there. Bleeds out the medevac. Gets an overlord. But it looks like Erik will hold on. Will survive. Whew. Erik holds with the bare minimum. I'm very impressed here that Erik was able to survive this push. Did lose a lot of workers, but we survived nonetheless. Green pulls back. Medevac barely escapes. Erik joining up to 61. Likewise, INexorable gets his own third base up and running as well. This is one of the big features of this map of Crimson Court, is the third base is very secure, at least here on the right-hand side or left, depending on where you do spawn in. You have to knock down rocks or mine through minerals to gain access to this location, and we can see that that just hasn't been the case. Right now, this third base is looking very secure. We're scanning, looking for another expansion. Erik is mining through these mineral patches. He is opening that up. And our Terran player is primed to shut them down. To shut down that would-be hatchery. Meanwhile, Erik, for the time being, is committed to Roach Ravager. The Infestation bit is about to finish up. This should be for Infestors to support. And from here, we'll then get into Lingbane. Lingbane is going to be on the horizon after we settle into our 4-base setup. Meanwhile, double drop is coming in. Erik does have eyes on this. But nothing at home to defend. We're committed. We have tanks. And we're going to be able to boil down at least some of this, and there's not much to support the tanks, actually. First tank goes down, so the second, so there's a third. 0 tanks remaining. Liberator putting in a lot of damage. We need a couple more biles. Biles, they will connect. We're pushing up into the main base at the same time across the map. Drones are going down. The drop play getting out of hand. We're going for a base trade. We're focusing down the factory, not the SCVs. Factory does fall. INexorable, he's racing back home. Roaches have arrived. Erik, he defends. He's able to barely defend. And INexorable, he just evacuates the main. He's lifting up. He's getting the hell out of there, but there's nothing left. We're racing back home with a handful of Marines. And INexorable just is not ready for this. More racks is on the way. 0 production, barely an army. Erik does have to evacuate the main, though. Like, there's nothing left to kill. We have to keep going. As INexorable, he's trying to evacuate towards the third base, but it looks like Erik, yeah, he's on the hunt. He's racing on over. Boys are being pulled. We only have Marines. Marines are good, but they're not that good. The Biles, they take down the medevac. GG, well played. And Erik takes game number 2. Whew. A very tense situation. I was so concerned about the base trade. I was so concerned that Erik would not have enough to break through the defensive line of tanks. Remember, there were like 4 tanks on the low ground. One of them was on siege. Thankfully, Liberator was also late to siege as well. And Erik barely broke through, got into the main base. INexorable did not have enough across the map. And with that, GG. Erik is on match point. Erik needs one more to be this week's Code for Giants Cup champion. Needs one more. And has Erik actually won some of these events? I'm curious, actually. Double checking here. He won the first one. Okay, so Erik, he's the very first Code for Giants Cup champion. But ever since then, he's gotten 2nd place, 3rd place, 4th place. Like Erik, he hasn't won one of these since April. It's been a while. But now he's so close. Now, clearly, Erik, he's been brushing up on his ZvT. He's been refining this opener and this playstyle. And Erik is a 1 game away from becoming our champion. INexorable, again, he's last week's champion. He He has proven himself before, but here, this week against Erik, he is struggling. He has to fight back here and now. No more mistakes, no more missteps. We're jumping in to Alcyone. Let's go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alcyone, we have our Brazilian Terran player, the Yellow Terran, representing the Platinum Heroes. Down in this series, he has to fight back here and now to have a chance at forcing the ace match. It is INexorable. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent once again going for a 14 gas into a 14 spawning pool. It's been his go-to opener this entire series. The Brazilian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing the CranKy Ducklings, it is Erik. Let's go. Now, we saw that in the previous game, INexorable did rush into that bunker far faster and did have it in time. Unfortunately, he was pulled out of position, and Erik was able to find some damage. Surprisingly, he was able to just pull INexorable left and right, catch the Reaper, catch the Marines, and get something for his early lings. We'll see how INexorable adapts here in Game 3, and if Erik is able to trade as well as he did. It's the evolution of these two players in this series. INexorable has been getting better and better at defending. Has still lost quite a bit. Hoping to refine his play. Very interesting. Speaking of refining our play, it's going to be a Rax expand into a... Wait, sorry, my apologies. That was CC first, right? Yeah. CC first into a 2 Rax. Okay. Now, CC first is a little more common on this map. The reason for this is because of the longer rushes and spike rounds and the more kind of macro approach that Alcyone does provide you. So this is a very greedy start. CC first into delayed Raxes. I believe this should be into Marine production. Yep, there we go. Marines are on the way, not Reapers. Meanwhile, Erik has still embraced the same opener. Overlord will confirm the faster CC as we dip in, and the CC is about to finish. So Erik is now aware of the greedier start. Behind this, singular Marine into add-ons, Reactor and Tech Lab. So this is leading into a 2-1-1 variation. We could see a third CC, but I'm leaning along the lines of maybe even a third Rax or a factory. We'll see. Lings are moving out. Add-ons are finishing up. Thankfully, we're making an extra Marine just in case there's the factory follow-up. Erik gonna be hiding those things. Baneling that's on the way. We stay in gas. We've stayed in gas. We're going for a Bane bust. Erik, he has not drawn. He's massing up more lings. We're going for a bust. And what's scary here is that this is ideal against this build. What I'm referring to, no Hellions. No Hellions to support, no bunker, no Reaper to scout. INexorable sees nothing. No SCV scout, no Reaper scout. He's in the dark. And Erik, he recognizes how greedy his opponent has been. And now it's time to punish. Like, what do we have? We have vanilla Marines. Stim is not going to finish in time. And there's no Hellions. There's nothing. Erik going for the counter, going for the punish. We're getting to our starport. See, add-on on the factory. Only a handful of Marines, and we have so many lings flooding across the map. Again, Erik identifying the opener. And he does have his own response to it. Banelings are waddling in, and we're looking to bust down that wall. Immediately, INexorable, he does pull away. The wall's on the wall! The depot has not risen. We don't even have to waste the Banelings. They're waddling in. We're going for the surround on the Marines. More boys being pulled. And here come the Banelings. Step far, good stutter stepping. Ooh, and we do connect with the SCVs. 13 workers, 14 workers going down. We will hold, we will defend, but it costs us so much. As we've gone 15, soon to be 16 workers. We have control of the low ground. Now from here, Erik could decide to drone, but no, he's still just massing up more Ling Bane. We gotta surround, no shot, we get in! Lings, they bust into the main base. More boys being pulled, but it's too late. There's 2 Marines left. Now 1, now 0. Stim is finishing up in 3 seconds, but what can we stim? What even is there? We have a couple of Hellions. Hellions, they just barely pop out. Upgrade did finish. We just ignore the SCVs. We go for the surround. 1 Hellion left. Oh, there's 1 Hellion. There's 0 Hellions remaining. Lings, they just keep on flooding. They keep on coming. And here come the Bailings to bust down that wall, to knock it down and to break in. INexorable down to 15 SCVs, 1 Marine. There are Hellions on the way, which will help, but we need time. And I'm loving the repositioning of the starport. We're walling up. Bearing in mind that Erik does not have the better economy. 18 workers to 15, so technically INexorable has the superior economy. Bailings are looking to break through, but with that secondary wall, we should be able to hold. Yeah, we don't waste the Bailings. We don't waste the Bailings. We have control of the low ground. We're going to need more Bailings. The goal here now is to break down the Raxes. To bust through the Raxes, not the depot. Or the depot and then the starport. Here we go. We have another wall behind this. We need as much SimCity as possible. We need a second, a third wall as well. Bailings, they're breaking in. The wall is not a wall. There was a little opening. There was a small gap in the wall. We break through. Hellions are trading well. There's 3 Hellions left. Not enough Lings. We're holding. We're surviving. And back at home, Erik is forced to drone. He's forced to drone up. A couple more SCVs go down. But INexorable has 2 orbitals. We can recover. Like, unironically, we can land our CC on the low ground. We can mule our hearts out and make 2 SCVs at a time. We can attempt to recover here. The problem is that we have yet to... There we go. Now we land our base. We are muling. The problem is that Erik was already re-droning, and Erik is up to 33 workers. He's droning up. We should be seeing a 3rd base. There we go. 3rd is now on the way. Now, if Erik is too greedy, if Erik doesn't make any Lings, and if he stays on 2 Queens, we can go for a Hellion counterattack. We have 5 Hellions at the moment, soon to be 6. And these Hellions, they can go to town. They can barbecue these mineral lines quite hard. There is potential. But that's only if INexorable isn't too... if he takes a chance. I say take a chance because he doesn't know. He doesn't know if we're droning or not. For all he knows, there could be more Ling Bane massing up, right? There could be another wave of Zerg on the way. So it's risky, right? Do we move out or do we not? So the Hellions are staying back at home. We have Cyclones on the way that will shut down the Overlord, will deny vision. Speaking of, the Overlord is going to be hunted down. And we can cancel that eBay. Not yet, though. And now we're missing the timing. There we go. We cancel the eBay. The army can move out. The Cyclone, unfortunately, is a little bit stuck. Is trapped. Once we make these Hellions, we can go for the lift and go for the add-on swap and break out. We can break out. We can break out, man. Never mind. We just leave it back. And now we're pushing. The problem is that at this point we already have roaches. We have roaches. Erik, he has droned up to 2 base saturation. He's got a decent army. He can hold his own. Now we could try to get past the roaches and just rush into a mineral line, but yeah, INexorable, he doesn't take his chance. He does pull back. Respects the roaches. And now we're calming things down. Armory is done. We can morph in Hellbats. You can see here the Hellions trying to outposition those roaches, trying to sit by. They try. Queens are in position. Roaches, they shut down the Hellions. We do slip in, though. 3 Hellions, they barely slip in. We catch 5 drones. 7 drones. Not bad. 7 workers go down. That's not bad damage here for these Hellions. But here comes the counterattack. Now, Hellions would not have helped against these roaches anyway, so I think this was a good moment for INexorable. I think it was a good trade. The problem, of course, is we have Mass Roach and we have no tanks. Against roaches, we would need tanks, we need Banshees, need bunkers. Bunkers are finishing. 1 tank is on the way. There are no Ravagers. But this 1 tank might just be a little bit too late. Yeah, the roaches have arrived. They knocked down the first bunker. Repairs not in time. The tank does siege. Tank does siege up. Good kiting here from Erik. Ooh, shaving off a lot of Marines. If we overextend, we have to fight within range of the tank. 7 SCVs go down. Ravagers should now be on the way. We're joining up. Getting to an infestation pit. That's going to be for infestors. INexorable moving out with a drop. Double Cyclone drop. Erik pulls back. Now, this was a good trade for Erik. Again, he maintained control of the economy. He got 7 SCV kills. Did bleed out a lot of roaches, but this hurts the Terran more than it hurts the Zerg. So Erik is on 3 bases. Soon to take gases. Ravagers are on the way. Double drop is coming in, but the army is in position back at home to defend. Not in the main, but at least at the 3rd. We are at least at the 3rd base. Job making its way in. We could maybe pick off an Overlord or 2. We'll go for the Queens. We ignore the Overlords. We go for the Mineral Iron. Never mind. Get the lock on. 1 Overlord goes down. We could try to get another, but yeah, roaches do rotate in time. Terran player forced to unload. Catching another Queen. Oh, just barely not. Medevac barely escaping. Queens they try to catch. And it looks like they will. It's close. They catch the Medevac. Medevac goes down. INexorable pulling back. 3rd CC on the way. INexorable attempting to expand. Behind this, going for a drop into the natural base. Bungle does connect. The Miles! Ooh, not quite. That's 5 drones going down. Very nice drop here from INexorable. Very nice drop. We got 5 workers. The tank count is building up. 2-2 is on the way. Likewise, Erik getting to his 4th. Hive tech. Oh my god. Yeah, the tech is in favor of Erik. With the Hive, we can get into Adrenal, start working towards Ultras or Vipers. 1-1 is done. We'll see how we settle in. Again, the biggest chance here for INexorable is going to be to allow Erik to push into it, right? Is for Erik to take a bad fight on INexorable's side of the map, pushing to this 3rd or pushing into the natural. We can see Erik taking up into a Hydra Den. Okay. Roach Ravager into Hydra. Baneling S as well, so it's going to be, we're trying to work towards Link Main Hydra Lurker. We're getting there. Erik has his side of the map, taking another base. We have split up our roaches, but we haven't split up our infestors, which is a downside here. So we're going to be able to defend, but we're not going to be able to look down the drops. There's that Lurker Den, Vipers, now in production. Fire Army unloads, we can catch these Overlords. Very nice catch. 2 Overlords go down. Bleeding out some Marines. We can afford these trades. It's okay, it's okay. INexorable still trying to stabilize. Likewise, still being active. Double drop on the right, double drop on the left. Erik has already pre-split his army. Is getting ready for this. Infestors in between both bases. Lurker Den finishing up. Erik joining up to 80. Currently on 74 workers, but soon to be more than that. As we double drop into the natural base. 1-2, still finishing up. We do barely save the Queen. Queen is saved. Drop is going to be cleaned up. The Miles! Thankfully, don't quite connect. Thankfully, they don't quite connect here. As INexorable, he's slowly catching up in terms of supply. Like, I do enjoy his army. Like, his army is more efficient. Smaller, but packs quite a punch. 3-3 is on the way for the Terran. Like, INexorable is making a game out of this despite the start of the game. Despite how intense things kicked off. Meanwhile, Erik settling down into Lurker tech. Nidus Worm on the way. Lurker upgrades as well. Barely save the Overlord. And the problem here is I don't see INexorable taking a 4th. Like, he needs a 4th base. He needs another CC, but when he does, he's going to spread himself thin. And that's going to be the moment where Erik can strike. is when the Terran expands. We can see Erik, he's looking for a 4th base. He's looking for an expansion. He has Lings at both 4th base locations. He knows that he cannot push into the 3rd. 4th CC's on the way. And that's going to be the next big moment. And there we go. 4th base now being taken. 3-3 about to finish up. This is going to be the sign for Erik to push in. As he does find these medevacs. Going for the parabombs. The double parabomb even. He will shut them down. Medevacs do fall. I'm loving the staggered parabombs from Erik. Meanwhile, 4th base is spotted. We bow down one of the libs. Should be responding. Waiting for these upgrades. Speaking of, I believe we're lacking some upgrades here. Yeah, we have not quite started 3-3. Or Aspire. Like, Erik, he has the money. Are we rotating over to respond? Does save the Evo chamber. Erik bleeding out some Lings, bleeding out some Roaches. We do want to get rid of these Roaches. Additional Evo chambers on the way. Yeah, we have most of our upgrades, thankfully, for the Lurkers. Now, Hydra upgrades. Professor's getting caught out. And I'm waiting to see Erik spend his money. Like, Erik is not maxed. Looks like he's still trying to decide. Okay, we're going for Hydras. 16 Hydras on the way, 15 more drones. Makes sense, we're on a low drone count. Didn't even realize until now. We're only on 66 workers. We do need to build up that drone count. We still have too much Roach Ravager. Like, Erik, like, both players are maxed out, and I have to favor the Terran player. This Roach Ravager is dead supply. We have to get rid of it and refine our army. The Vials help against the Liberators at least. Going for the Nidostorm into the main. A big reaction. INexorable turning everything around. Going for the Nidosworm. The Nidus will finish. Nothing inside it. At the same time, pushing onto the front lines, catching some tanks. 2 tanks going down. This is going to be a bit of a messy push here from Erik. Takes down another tank, another Liberator. Going for the mineral line, going for the 3rd. Does barely break in. And behind this, we need a remax. Catching more libs. INexorable being pulled apart. The Bio Army not where it needs to be. More tanks go down. Every Liberator as well. And the Terran Army caught out of position. Big spine shot here from the Lurkers. Erik trades insanely well, and behind this he's remaxing with Lings. 100 Lings on the way. We're getting out of the Roaches into Ling, Bane, Hydra Lurker, Viper. Just mass Lings here. Still missing Banelings. And Lings are just flooding in. And they flood on forward. We're going for the tanks. We could try to go up the ramp, but okay, we pull back. Okay, Banelings on the way. I would love to see a Spire and a Greater Spire. Like, Erik has the money for it, but for now we're just sticking with this composition, which can still work. The Viper getting energy on the Nidostorm. I didn't know you could do that. True, Nidostorms do count as buildings. That's great. Oh my god. It's a way to gather energy on the front lines. I've never quite seen that before. And we're going for the dive. Where's the Blinding Clouds? We go Blinding Clouds on the tanks. Not enough Ling Bane though. Yeah, the Lings that were distracted by the Gas Geyser. So not the best trade, but it looks like we have enough. Yeah, we have enough anyway. Erik, he knocks down the main army. GG, well played. And Erik will take the series 3-0, becoming this week's Code for Giants Cup champion. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Erik, as he does claim his series was a very chaotic start. Remember, every game Erik went for a 14-14. Here on Algione, INexorable did go for a CC first. CC first into a Churax, into Reactor, into add-ons. No scouting information. Because INexorable went for a greedy opener with no scouting information, Erik threw down the Bailey Nest, pulled back into gas, went for a Bane Bust, didn't kill his opponent but did cripple him, was able to eviscerate the economy, was able to reset the Hellions, the Marine count, was able to trade well enough to start droning and get ahead, and get into a longer macro game. We did end up in a macro game and both players did max out, but we saw that, and I did favor INexorable's main army. In a head-to-head fight, I favored the Terran player, but Erik pulled the Terran apart. Time and time again, he was able to pick off tanks, able to pick off Liberators. The Bio army was never where it needed to be to protect those important tech units, to protect the tanks and protect the Libs, and Erik pulled INexorable apart. GG, well played. Congratulations. GG, well played. Congratulations to Erik. Fala galera, papi, fala. GG was an amazing run, and again, I'm unfamiliar. I'm unfamiliar with INexorable. I have never been able to cast him before today. But I did hear good things, and Cosmos was regaling me with some stories about INexorable, about how well he was performing, about his results, about his improvement, about he has been practicing with. For those curious, he practices with Future and Vindicta quite often, gets a lot of coaching from them, and yeah, I mean, it shows. Like, this may be a 3-0, but Erik is not a standard player. Like, this was a really chaotic series, and anyone struggles against Erik, especially if they don't have a lot of practice against him. But this is a good learning experience for INexorable. Now he's a little bit more familiar with the way that Erik is opening up with 14-14s, and I'm sure he's going to be adapting in the coming weeks, in the coming months. The next time he faces off against Erik, I'm sure he's going to be more prepared. I am sure. GG, well played. With that, congratulations. That will be wrapping up our first broadcast of the day. I say the first broadcast because we have another World Team League. WTL was over the weekend, but we missed out on day one. If you remember, day one of WTL was supposed to be on Friday, but we were busy casting OSC King of the Hill, which means we missed out on day one of World Team League, and we're going to be catching up in 7 hours time. Sorry. Yeah, 7 hours time. In 7 hours time, we're going to be live on this channel with World Team League WTL, so if you're going to be around, if you go to bed, wake back up, we got you covered with some World Team League action. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow for some more StarCraft. Every day we got plenty of StarCraft on the horizon here. Home Story Cup is over the weekend, so keep an eye out for Home Story Cup action. We most likely won't be a part of Home Story Cup. I'm reaching out just in case, but I believe Home Story Cup is going to be taking place, and they have their own side streams going on. Regardless, do check it out. And yeah, with that, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Again, this was a little bit different. This is a Brazilian-only tournament. It is a bi-weekly, and we will do our best to cast this every single 2 weeks. Every single edition of this tournament, we will do our best. And this has, you know, kind of inspired me a little bit to maybe try to reach out and maybe host some more tournaments as well for the Latin American scene. I miss it. It's where we started. It's where the CranKy Ducklings to begin. So we'll see. Maybe. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. We'll see you guys in 7 hours, or we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more StarCraft action. Until then, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Hasta luego. Ciao, papi. Ciao. Hasta luego.